সোনার বাংলা আমি তোমায় ভালোবাসি ও মা ফাগুনে
Don't really understand this part. They don't feel right. Well, I'm told my culture is intimately tied to my roots. That was not rooted before I was even born. Now I'm halfway across the globe and my culture was lost in that translation.
Lost in the vast colonies of blood-curdling screams. Lost.
How am I supposed to be proud of my country when it's steeped in its own people's blood?
এই রক্ত হলোই আমার জীবন
How am I supposed to tell you what it's like to be Muslim when I've always been scared of who I am? How am I supposed to tell you what it's like to be Bengali and English when my ancestors died for their language?
বাংলা হওয়া মানে কি বড়
We are the South Asian Youth Alliance. Yet there are hundreds of distinct cultures in South Asia that are forgotten every time we perform for you. All I have is this double consciousness. And if I ever try to tell you a true Bengali narrative, I'm damned if I do, and damned if I don't.
And what of those ignorant classifications shrouding my entire family history? Every bullet that went through my grandfather, every note sung by my grandmother, every tear that rolled down my father's cheek as he traveled sea to sea trying to find a place to live. It's been 66 years and he still hasn't found that comfort.
So let's take a step back and talk about you. Who am I to you? Does the darkness really conceal you? There is no filter here. Only you and me.
I'm not filtering it down for you though. This sweet mango nectar going down your throat, this flavorful taste, one of parents singing Hindustani ragas with my brother, sitting on the carpet, crying, laughing, celebrating those who sacrificed themselves, over 3 million of them, for our language.
Just as I am a living contradiction, so are you. Does every time you applaud for our cut and paste performances, molded by your desire for 40 minutes of entertainment, make us a commodity? A flat collage and nothing more? Do you praise our ability to put centuries of history and culture, our identity, in a box, knowing that we erase cultures every year? Maybe what we really need is a moment of silence for what we've lost.
Yes, silence. The silence that always comes before the storm, the calm before the storm, as they say. The storm of cultural powder scattering across the skies like something straight out of heaven. The cultural singing tunes, the sweetness of melodies as they fill my heart with emotion.
At the same time, if you stay silent for our performance, do you not render us invisible? As if our identity doesn't belong in your America? Because underneath every single one of our dances and songs and smiles is a struggle for our culture to be appreciated and accepted.
Acceptance, just thinking of it makes me shudder. With the scent of turmeric filling up the cafeteria room, boys jeering at me when I spoke my mother tongue. Why was it that when I opened my mouth, their tongue stuck out? And now what? They sit in the cafeteria watching Aziz Ansari and T-Series, appreciating the very culture that I hid myself, the one that I safely stored away so hard that I even forgot who I was.
I'm trapped in between American and Bengali and Muslim. But now so are you. Will you really clap? Think twice. Just realize, you're damned if you do, and damned if you don't.
So please, enjoy the show.
मेरे ढोलना सुन मेरे प्यार की धुन मेरे ढोलना सुन
এই যে বলি খেলা হয়, বলি খেলা বলে হয় কি মনে করো সেটা রেসলিং এর মতো হয়, একটা মাটিতে বাঁধানো সামহাও দাঁড়িয়ে গেল উইন। এগুলো কিন্তু গ্রামের মানুষ তো পরিশ্রম করে, কিন্তু অনেক শক্ত মানুষ। ডোল পিটিয়ে পিটিয়ে ওগুলো আমরা হয়, আবার জিতলে ডোল পিটিয়ে পিটিয়ে ওখানে বাসায় গিয়ে বাড়িতে গিয়ে দিয়ে আসে মাদার ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ দিয়ে। তো ওইটাতেই আমরা সবাই মিলে আমরা ওই মনুমেন্টে যাই, মনুমেন্ট তৈরি করা ভোর সকালে উঠে খুব খালি পায়ে ওখানে গিয়ে আমরা ওখানে যারা ভাষার জন্য, বাংলা ভাষার জন্য যারা স্যাক্রিফাইস দেয় লাইফ, ওদের কাছে আমরা রেসপেক্ট জানাই, তোমরা আমাদের জন্য যে জীবন দিয়েছ, তোমাদের এই ইনস্টেড অফ ইউর লাইফ উই হ্যাভ আওয়ার ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ, মাদার ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ।
আমরা মসজিদে যেয়ে নামাজ পড়তাম না, বাসায় করতাম। তারপরে সবাই আসতো বাসায় বেড়াতে, তারপর আমরা খাওয়া দাওয়া করতাম, মজা মজা রান্না হতো, খাওয়া দাওয়া হতো। আমরা খাওয়া দাওয়ার পরে আমরা এক বাসা থেকে আরেক বাসায় যেতাম। তারপরে বাংলাদেশে গেলে ইডি পাওয়া যেত, সালাম করলে পরে সবাই টাকা দিত।
Much more festive, much more brighter. So I think that part probably staying in New York comes with a price. And growing up, there's actually one telephone for that block. And if you ever wanted to communicate, you always gave the neighbor who was 10 houses down and just give a telephone number. These festivals, it was like, hey, come over to our house, we're having a party, just come on in. And I think that's a part we miss here in New York City.
गुनगुनाए गाना रे अच्छा चलता हूँ दुआओं में याद रखना मेरे जिक्र का जुबान पे सुहाग रखना
दिल के संदूकों में मेरे अफ़गान रखना
चिट्ठी तारों में भी मेरा गुस्साम रखना अंधेरा तेरा मैंने ले लिया मेरा उजला सितारा तेरे नाम किया चुना मेरे आ चुना मेरे आ चिट्ठी चंदन पे नाक सी लपटी मैं बेहोश तो Now, we would like to ask for a moment of silence for the victims of the New Zealand mosque shootings. Thank you. How can we be victims? How can we be victims when bullets can't pierce us? Oh, because we're not made of flesh and bone like you. We're made of oil and war and money. We bathe in bullets. We kill each other like beasts. We're a plague, a terror, oppression. But I think you guys said it better.
Iraq is a crappy place filled with a bunch of, semi-literate primitive monkeys.
We are primitive. We're simple. We don't understand. A world where blasting bullets into children is considered justice. Where bodies in submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is just a body count. 50. Too small for a protest. Too small for a moment of silence. Too small to stop your day and grieve because the number of Muslims who matter to you is just too small. The Prophet, rest his soul, said, "Do not hate, for hate is an acknowledgement of their humanity." So the mother who lost her child during prayer forgives your inhumanity. The husband who has to bury his wife forgives your inhumanity. The people that you call monkeys and beasts forgive your inhumanity. That is Islam. That is peace. So, we're simple. In the face of your hate and indifference, we'll rise again at the break of dawn and pray peacefully. Allahu Akbar.
What's that? My fridge. Come for me, man. Don't like you know that I'm even try. I keep some bottle of that boogie on the private. She said she like it, yeah, like it. Hey, no socks on my feet, these the ankle lungs. Shuffles on summer, I'm shadow cup. They like with the fall and they know we on. Let's all head back to the burrow, I got the car. Star, I hit the frogs just to clear up the fog. Jump in the car, around with the culture of God. Them sing like, okay, let's get crazy, girl. When you working for your purpose, you say, hey, we gon' mix this shit right up and I'm gon' hold you there. Let me show you how, I'm gon' show you how. You put it on, you put it on. I put them on, I put them on, I put them on.
What I'm about to do is break it. Break it down.
Growing up in a metropolitan city like Karachi taught me a lot about acceptance of different cultures and different people. When I first moved to New York, this particular experience helped me a lot to adapt to my new life here. Even though we are used to living in a certain way, it's also important to be respectful of the new life you come into, especially not just expect and wait for everyone to understand and accommodate, but we should also try to embrace the new culture responsibly and consciously. I think by blending and sharing our experiences and culture, we help create a more tolerant and friendly society.
Such thing as cultural ubiquity, to my understanding. I grew up 20 years in a culture. When I came to the US, it's been over 20 years now. And my cultural values has changed. My perception around people around me has changed. And it's just a different dimension. I'm still the same person.
One of the first meetings I went to, probably the first one, they were watching a comedy skit by Hchs, and I just kind of sat there like, okay. This South Asian culture is definitely a part of my family's history, and I really wish that I knew a lot more about it. So being in Saya is super, super helpful and kind of comforting because I met people like Gia, and we can relate about Caribbean things and talk about things that we don't understand about brown culture. So that's pretty neat. But these weekly meetings help me learn more about this culture that I only have a diluted experience of. And it's so valuable for me to see other people living their brown lives, and kind of learn from that and revel in the happiness that we all feel from this communal culture that brings us together.
कोई सोई सड़कों पे सितारों के खंभों पे हम नाचते उड़ते हैं यहाँ खो गए हम कहाँ रंगों सा ये जहाँ खो गए हम कहाँ रंगों सा ये 자돌이 말할 때 내리 무뚜비해야 거기서이 살코베시 따로 게 간놈배함 낮출 때 울배해야
Nobody ever told me where my loyalties were supposed to lie. No one ever sat me down and said, be brown at home and be white at school. And because, contrary to what some people might believe, I'm not actually the genius Indian kid, I never really figured it out. I've spent years being confused. I've spent years switching back and forth. Months would go by when I wished I was light-skinned and blue-eyed, when I wished I had no history except for Americanness. I felt like that a lot when I was younger, which is probably what comes with being the only brown kid in your elementary school class. You know, I hear being ethnic is trendy now, but that could go away at any moment. Our cultures and our features go in and out of style, and we don't get to control it. I spent so long being ashamed of my dark hair, my dark skin, and my thick eyebrows that now when people want and praise the things that I have finally learned to love, I'm almost angry. Too little, too late, I want to tell them. I want to tell them that if they would have mocked someone like me 10 years ago, then they don't get to wear our clothes. No more bindis at your music festivals. They don't get to adopt our culture. No more ending your soul cycle class with a namaste. They don't get to use us for social currency. No more going back to my parents' country to find yourselves. No more coming home and complaining about how crowded and dirty it was. I don't care what you think you learned. Notice I said my parents' country, not mine. I'm too far away and too Americanized for it to belong to me. Months go by when I wish my tongue didn't slip and stumble over the words of my mother's mother tongue. When I wish I had learned to love dal and rice and my food instead of begging for sandwiches as a kid. Wish I wasn't more familiar with Christianity than I am with my own religion. Sometimes I'm afraid this melting pot I live in has done its job too well. That just because I'm surrounded by diversity doesn't mean I'm not also losing myself. My language is long gone, and I'm trying desperately to hold on to some traditions, but it's hard to celebrate Diwali when you don't have the day off to do it, and it's hard to go to the temple when the only one I know of is an hour away by car. So what do I have? I have the self-awareness to know that if I have something this valuable, I should do whatever I can to preserve it. And I have the responsibility to myself and to my culture to love it so that other people can too. I'm not ashamed of my hair, or my skin, or my eyebrows anymore, and I don't think it's just because they're in style. I'm just tired of either being too brown or not brown enough. So yes, I'm thanking this country for everything it's given me, but I'm thanking my culture for everything that I am. Thank you.
Before we go, we'd like to thank our amazing advisors, Dr. Sharma and Mr. Wanda. Would you please come up to the stage? I'd like to thank our amazing presidents, Gian and Nate. We're so sad that you guys are